In the time of us filming this video, it is currently Pride Month, and me and Benedict think that it would be a great idea for us to make a video telling you guys what the Catholic Church stance is on the gay and the LGBTQ community. I don't know how many there is now.
I mean, I've heard that it's got to LGBTQ++, if I'm not mistaken. And to think that it started originally with LGBTQ. And some people from the LGBTQ community don't even accept these new ones. It's really weird.
They don't even know what these new ones are. So the Catholic Church stance on these groups of people is that if you have an unholy thought of attraction to the same gender, you have not committed a sin yet. But if you act upon that thought, if you entertain that thought and you commit the actions, then yes, you have committed the sin. But if an unholy thought comes into your mind and you just ignore it, then it is not a sin. The Catholic Church encourages those who have an attraction to the same gender to enter a life of celibacy and chastity.
And speaking of that, we have brought this up in another video where we said that thinking of something is not necessarily a sin. But if you continue to feed that thought, like let's say you had the thought of lust, if you continue to feed it, you continue to have that drive to want it, if you want to consume content which go with that, then that is a sin when you eventually act upon it.
Here is my stance on it, right? If you know that you are a lustful person and you tend to have these unholy thoughts, the way a Catholic should navigate it is not to constantly view these unholy things and to challenge yourself. I think that if you always have thoughts to lust, I think that you should not challenge it but stay away from these content as much as possible. And that's how you can preserve yourself and protect yourself, because putting yourself in situations where you are near these unholy thoughts, where you know that you are not that good at resisting it, I think that itself is inviting these things into your life.
Acting upon sins like this is a way for demons to enter into us. We are literally opening doors for demons when we act upon sins like lust and homosexuality.
I have heard this example before from a Catholic, that when you are jumping over a fire pit, if there is another path to take where it doesn't require you to jump over that fire pit and put your life at risk, why not take the safer path rather than jumping over the fire pit, which you have the potential to fall into it?
The Catholic Church did not just make things up of thin air. You can look back onto scripture in Leviticus 18:22, which is one of the most prominent times in the scriptures where it's listed against homosexuality. It states, "You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination."
I think that is stated as clear as day, that homosexuality is not right in the Christian religion, and you cannot practice homosexuality if you want to be a devout Catholic.
And also, if you look at Romans 1:26-27, it states very, very clearly, "For this reason, God gave them up to dishonorable passion. Their women exchanged natural relations for unnatural, and the men likewise gave up natural relations with women and were consumed with passion for one another, men committing shameless acts with men, and receiving in themselves the due penalty for their error." We can look at this and think, how can a man be with a man and create a baby? Because due to the natural law, it's clearly stated you need a man and a woman.
As a Catholic, the point of getting married is not just to get married. The point of getting married is to be open to creating new life and also to consummate a marriage. You cannot be the same gender and consummate a marriage. You cannot procreate with the same gender. So it does not make sense for these groups of people stating that the Catholic Church should allow same-sex marriage. It is heretical in my opinion. If we look back in Genesis, it is stated that God created Adam and Eve. He didn't create Adam and Steve, which is as clear as day how God intended relationships to be between a man and a woman. So Benedict, for example, if Matt and Jason are two gay people and they have attraction to one another, as a Catholic, if both of them are Catholic, how do they navigate their relationship with one another? Can they still be friends, or should they cut each other off completely?
In my opinion, I feel they still can be friends. They can still have that relationship where they like each other. But the moment that they act upon it, like they both, let's say they were to attempt to procreate, then that is another story. But if they are both very, very good friends and they can get things done, they can still be Catholic. In their direct attraction to each other, they should build up their relationship with God. And instead of having a sexual drawing to each other, they should both be with each other like brothers through Christ. Like Patrick and I, if I ever need anything, like if I'm not feeling well, I can ask Patrick to pray for me at any time. And if I ever need someone to talk to, I can call Patrick. So they can still like each other, but they can also call each other if they ever need anything.
That's right. They should direct the attraction they have to one another towards directing the attraction to loving God and living out this beautiful Catholic life together, encouraging each other to increase in holiness and encouraging each other to increase their relationship with God and praying together. I think that as Catholics, having friends to pray the rosary together and to talk about our faith together is some of the most beautiful things that you can ever do with your friends.
Also, in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, paragraph 2358, it states, "The number of men and women who have deeply seated homosexual tendencies is not negligible. This inclination, which is objectively disordered, constitutes the most of them in a trial. They must be accepted with respect, compassion, and sensitivity. Every sign of unjust discrimination in their regard should be avoided." And this clearly shows that us as Catholics, we must still respect them as people. They are still children of God. We should not just forget about them just because they are different from us. That actually goes against every moral teaching in the Catholic Church. We should always show respect to them, and we should respect them as children of God.
For the Pope blessing these people, the Pope is not blessing their marriage, but the Pope is blessing them as children of God, like Benedict said. And for those who have a poor interpretation of this video, like for us saying that, yes, gay people cannot act upon their thoughts to be faithful Catholics, some people might say, well, I identify as two genders in myself, I am male and female, and what would your response be to them?
My response to them will be, are you off your meds? All jokes aside, I would actually ask them, I would want to hear the story of their past and why they think of that.
There are certain people on earth that identify as two genders, believe it or not.
Patrick, turns out there is actually a name to describe those people. They are known as bigender.
These kind of heretical beliefs helps me even more to believe that the Catholic Church is the one true church, because we can see without the magisterium, without anyone keeping our faith together, and with us interpreting scripture for ourselves and interpreting the world and everything in it for ourselves, without anyone teaching us what it is supposed to be, it will result in many heretical teachings. And if we continue in this path and do not look to the magisterium and interpret the Bible for ourselves, it will lead to more and more heretical teachings. We can see that in the secular world, and we can see that also happening in the Christian world, in some Protestant groups.
We can clearly see when us humans are given as much freedom as we have to interpret anything we want, we can see how many genders there are out there. And it is very similar to especially those who believe in sola scriptura, because we had so much freedom to interpret our own doctrines and verses that now there are over 45,000 denominations out there.
I am all about giving freedom to humans. Us citizens should have the right to vote, should have freedom. But regarding genders, regarding these things that are common sense, I think there should be law enforcing these things, that When you're born a male, you have to be a male. When you're born a female, you have to be a female. And I'm also against sola scriptura, as Benedict have stated. When we have the ability to interpret scripture for ourselves without the magisterium, look at the Protestant Reformation. Look at how many churches are within the Protestant Reformation. And look at the Catholic Church. We have the magisterium to interpret scripture for us and to teach us. It results in an orderly religion where we are all united like Christ have taught us. I hope you guys enjoy watching today's video stating the stance of the Catholic Church on homosexuality. If you did enjoy today's video, please consider to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe.